Good. All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the special meeting of the Board of Education for September 21st, 2020. We'll open the meeting by joining me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we want to note that this is a public hearing for the 2021 school budget, proposed school budget and capital project plan, bus replacement plan, as required by law. You want to give your explanation for the process?
Yes. Yeah, this is the budget hearing, and we'll leave this hearing open for the remainder of the meeting, and I will conduct a little bit of business as we go. I'm going to hold off just for a second, just so if somebody came in late, they wouldn't miss what we're going to talk about. I'll cover the business first, and then I will go through the budget stuff, and then we'll close the meeting if no one shows up. I mean, close the hearing and meeting if no one shows up. So the meeting is now officially open, and the budget hearing is officially open.
All right.
First thing on the agenda under new business, I would ask the board to approve the addendum to the Associate Superintendent's contract of Michael Galvin, and the regular Associate Assistant Superintendent's contract. It discusses that he would receive $4,500 if he moved into the district. He is living in the district. He has made the move, and he's incurred expenses in doing so. It is temporary. It is a temporary condition because it's a camper, but he is currently seeking out land and the opportunity to buy land and build a house within the district. I'm asking the board to adjust his contract so that $4,500 is not a stipend, but is a payment of reimbursable expenses for moving into the district. This will be a one-time payment. He will have to provide the requirements under the State Board of Accounts to qualify for that. That's basically using the form and providing us with the receipts of the legitimate expenses that for those moving expenses. This will null and void any other payment that was mentioned in any other in the contract dealing with expenses or a stipend for moving into the district. And this also, number 3, states that if Mr. Galvin moves outside of the district while he is employed by the board as superintendent, then he would have to pay the money back. So I'm asking the board to change the language of that associate superintendent's contract to read that it is not a stipend basically, and that it is reimbursable expenses incurred to move into the district.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the amendment to the contract.
I'll second.
So a motion by Mr. Schmidt, seconded by Mrs. Will to approve the addendum, the changes to the addendum to the interim employment contract that we previously approved August 10th, as presented by Dr. Camp. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 3-0.
I'd like to ask the board to approve the FMLA request from Jalen Boots for the birth of her child, and then also approve Mrs. Kester's request to hire Amber Orlander to fill in for her during her maternity leave and FMLA. If the board would approve that, I would appreciate approving that at this time.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the FMLA request.
Second.
I'll second that.
So a motion by Mrs. Will, seconded by Mr. Schmidt to approve the FMLA request as presented by Dr. Camp. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The motion carries 3-0.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the 2021 budget. Start out with the 1782 notice of the current budget, the 2020 budget. If in the past, we basically reviewed these several items. In the 2020 budget, the tax rate is 0.8776, basically 88 cents. That is up a few cents over the previous year. If you know that the state has reduced the assessed valuation, the assessed value of farmland, and so it was a 4-year process that they were doing. We're in the 4th year now. Well, 2021 is the 4th year. And so our AV has been dropping, which is kind of gradually increasing our tax rate. But also in the 2020, we paid a interest payment to the new debt as well. So they increased from, I think we were at 82 cents the year before. That increase is a combination of the paying the interest on the debt that we've incurred, and also the AV had dropped. No one has been able to give me any information on what the AV is going to look like this year. I can tell you that the growth quotient in the 2020 budget was 3.3%. The growth quotient for the 2021 budget is 4.2%. So when the AV drops, that just reduces the amount of money we get. So, you know, we did great. You know, they changed the budget to education and operation from the 5 silos down basically to 3. And so once they did that, we have the ability to move money around a little better through the silos, and so to speak. And so it's not that difficult. But the 3.3% for 2020 gave us plenty of money in the operations fund, even though the AV dropped. So I'm speculating that with the 4.2%, if it doesn't have just a drastic drop, the operations fund should be okay. We won't see the full amount of the 4.2% because I would say the AV is going to drop. No one has been able to tell me how much. I would say we probably won't know that until December, the exact amount that it's going to drop. But we should be okay with the operations funds, to the point where this year, I think the way we fixed that insurance issue that we had, we're shorting the 15% that we can move to the operations because we have enough money there. So moving on to the 2021 budget, this is the form that you have to sign every year, basically, that says you agree with the budget. And then basically it gives you our line ones, which is what we're asking the state for in appropriations. And in rainy day, we're asking for 600,000, debt service, 494,000, debt payment, $893,702. The education fund, $8,941,649, and operations fund, $5,350,000. So asking for that much, especially like when you look at the education and the operations fund, if we would spend, and then I do the budget this way every year, if we would spend every dime of that, we would spend every dime of our cash balance. So we won't do that. We monitor how much money that we can actually bring in. And that's how, and that's one of the ways, the mechanisms that I use so that we don't have to, you know, last year, I think one time we were scared that we weren't going to get a payment in, and we asked for an additional appropriation. You don't really want to do that. So
that was the timing with payroll too,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
right.
So we want to make sure that we ask for more money than we really need because of our cash balance. It keeps us from having to do that. when you do that, people think you're overspending. So anyway, so we monitor, like the operations fund, it will not get anywhere near 5.3 million, but we monitor how much we're going to get, and then we base our spending on that number. So, and Mr. Galvin knows that, how we do that. So the 16-line statement, which is on the board as well, that in line 1 is what I just read off. And if you know, they tell us when you look at that down at the very bottom, it has a tax rate of, let me see here, I got the wrong one here. It has a tax rate of $1.31. And well, last year at this exact same time, at this exact same hearing, we had a tax rate we were advertising of $1.32. And the reason that is like that is because when you set your AV to protect yourself, you always make it about 80% of what you really think it's going to be, which drives up your tax rate. And I'm asking for more money in operations than we're going to actually get. So I do that every year to protect us. And when it all shakes out, I've got it here. When it all shakes out, and I'm just guessing at the reduction of the AV, we're going to fall between 93 and 97 cents is what I think. That's where I think we'll end up. 93 would be on the good side, 97 would be on the high side. So I just think we're going to fall out there. And that is a pure guess, just based on the past couple of years. So don't hold me to those numbers, but I think that's where we'll shake out with our tax rate. In the 2021 budget, besides just picking up the interest, we have to pick up the payment, and we also have to pick up the loss of the AV if it drops. I'm hoping it doesn't drop. If it didn't drop, operations fund will be in great shape. I mean, really good shape.
I don't see any way possible it didn't drop.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, I just don't know how much. Can't tell on how much building has actually hit the assessments. You know, because you build a house, it's not there yet. Dude,
right.
So,
and I mean, all the sales that have raised, you know, that we're kind of getting the real estate bubble here, it's not going to come into play until next year.
Yeah. So, you know, 93, 97 cents. When I look at everybody else's Heritage Hills, Dan Sherry, he kind of keeps a chart of everybody's tax rate in Southern Indiana, and just by looking at the chart that he provides, I've shared that with you guys before we did the bond issue. We're still right dead in the middle. So I think that's really good because our assessed valuation is under 500 million, and most people around us are 1,400,800 million. So we're maintaining the same tax rate as those people that are drawing in 3 times and 2 times as much money as we are. I think it's pretty good. The next piece of the budget that I want to kind of go over is the bus replacement plan. I think it's page 35 on the document that was provided to you. No, 36, it'd be one more because that's the first page. Yeah. So every year we have to have a resolution to adopt a bus replacement plan, and basically we kind of chart out what we're planning on doing for the next 5 years. This form here kind of tells you that, and there's also some other sections to that which really are not applicable to us. We're not setting aside any extra money. We're not asking for purchases of additional buses or anything like that. But the bus replacement plan is a document that lets everybody know that we plan to have a bus replacement plan, and we plan on spending the money to replace our buses. The capital projects plan, which is the next resolution that we have to adopt, lets everybody know since we have an operations fund now, and it encompasses the CPF plan. It encompasses the bus replacement and the transportation. All of those were combined. If you remember, that plan lets you know what we plan on doing for the next several years. There's a page there that, you know, and I have it very general as I can, you know, covering the areas that we generally try to fix and maintain and improve every year: HVAC, technology, roofing, flooring, and those sorts of items that we do to our buildings every year. So that form is also there. And then you get over to the 2020 budget transfer resolution. If this resolution allows us to make transfers between funds to make sure we stay in the black and put money where we need to have the money. And then the next resolution is the budget hearing. It's basically saying that I'm giving you this information. If I need to make any changes between now and October when you approve the budget, it basically is saying that I will let you know of any changes that have to be made. The next resolution is the rainy day transfer. In the 2021 budget, we will be transferring the 2019 cash balances. And so we're moving $200,000 into the rainy day budget. So that will be doing that. And then the next is the resolution that we do to transfer money from the education fund to the operations fund. We're allowed to move up to 15%. That number represents what we think 15% is going to be, $1,404,000. I will tell you that, like in the 20 budget, we have that same number, and the reason it reads up to, not to exceed, because if the first year we were able to do this, we shorted that move by 3 payments. I think at that time the payments were $133,000 a month. This year we plan on shorting that at least 1 payment, maybe 2 full payments, because we've reduced that number from the previous year. And so, you know, we're not wanting to take money out of the education fund that we don't need to take out. That was the reason that happened, is when they took away the 5 silos and gave us 3, we moved several different employee groups over into operations to pay their payroll, and that's why they allow us to move that money there. And we don't want to move any more than we need. So that is that. Those are the resolutions that we'll be asking you to approve. So with that being said, that is basically the 2021 budget review. If anybody has any questions, I'll answer them. And if not, since no one showed up, we can close the hearing.
Anybody?
So do we need to state that there was no?
Yeah, well, so we need to state both things, that there was nobody here for patients' concerns, and then there was nobody here for the budget hearing. You guys put in there accordingly.
The next regular meeting is October 12th. It is a regular meeting, and we'll have an executive session at 5:30 and the regular meeting at 6:30. And that is the meeting that I will be coming to you to pass the budget. That meeting, hopefully, if everything works right, which I think it will, I'll be coming to you to ask for the raises. We've settled a 2-year contract with the teachers. Basically, it's just running the numbers and getting that accurate and correct. And then also the other employee groups, I'll be asking for their raises at that time as well.
Do we need a motion to
for
close
this,
that,
to adjourn the budget?
the budget hearing?
Yeah, we probably should.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we close the budget hearing.
All right,
Do I have to second that or anything?
I don't believe so.
Okay, 6:23.
When did we state fall break? Is that's the week before this meeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And say if we scheduled a board meeting for the week we're going to be off, that wasn't very smart on our part, was it?
Amy took care of us there. And I do want to say this as we close down the meeting. Carol does an excellent job with this budget. She does 99% of all of the work. to do this budget. Basically, I do a small piece of it. She works in CompuTrol and Gateway, and she uses previous budgets. We talk a little bit, but she is the one that takes care of the budget and builds this thing for us. And then we all work together to kind of manage it. And so I want to give her the credit for doing all the work
Sure.
that it takes to put that together.
Anybody else have anything for the good of the cause?
No.
All right, I'll entertain are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
So a motion by Mrs. Will, seconded by Mr. Schmidt to adjourn. We are so adjourned. Perfect.